realized I was muted. Fucking, I'm a genius. I am so smart. What is going? Am I going crazy, or is my light? I feel like my light dims and then it brightens for a second, then it dims again. Doesn't seem noticeable on my screen here. I feel like I'm just confused. Okay. Boom. That. Suffering of Sir Brante. Let's destroy my voice again. Yay. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. Alright. Continue. Agony. Oh. Sounds right. That's my line. Oh shit, is Grandpa gonna finally fucking die? I hope so. He's a piece of shit. Oh, my voice is not ready. I am not ready. Stefan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Fucking Mike, go. Several months go by, and it becomes clear that Grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now. On some days he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide, Mother locks herself in her chambers. You and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If Grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lots any longer. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the Brante family has lost its honor. Again and again, you hear Grandfather knocking at Mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs Father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. What in the fuck? Is that Sir Gregor? It is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, Mother, and Grandfather in his bed. Father has left for the capital on business. You are engrossed in the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside your door. You see light in the hallway. Grandfather, what could he want in the middle of the night? Oh, fuck. You peek into the hallway once he has passed. Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to Mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than your fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. You foul commoner, I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin, you and what you have done to Robert and this family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from taking this house by your presence. Why? Why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you. Silence, you will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire. Fire and flame will free Robert from this disgrace. It is for my son's sake. For my son's. For my. I need to eradicate this low-born filth. Twins, they are calling for me now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I beg of you, please, have mercy. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over Mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out on the bed, crying. Please, just let me warn the children. I beg of you, Sir Brante. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Grandfather turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Ryan. Be useful for once. Our worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am. Sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed, driven to madness. His hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. We're suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? There is no going back now. You have but a moment to act. If we let it happen, we fucking die. We lose if we stop him. I lose my willpower though. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I could let Mother die. Okay, we'll stop him. You look at Grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with rage and throws the oil lamp at the floor. You manage to catch it just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug. Not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp's glass is blistering hot. I can read. It burns your hands, but you still hold on to it safely. You low-born scum. You're every bit like your mother. You. Enraged, he takes a swing and you squeeze your eyes shut. He does not hit you. Instead, there is a deep exhalation. You peek at him with one eye, just in time to see him collapse. All his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. Another heavy exhalation. The contempt is gone. There is only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in pride. He exhales. His eyes grow dim. Mother is there, whispering a prayer. He is shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with Mother in the sitting room. You will not let go of your hand. For many, many nights afterward, she keeps seeing Grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eye. Father returns from a turn in the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, not the looming, heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. At last, Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed to the hereafter. We need to get willpower back up. The night of grandfather's death shook your family to the core. Yet no matter how it happened, your grandfather, Gregor Brante, is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family, the Brante Patriarch exerting his influence on all the lives below him, and all of you will remember him forever. Father is the new Patriarch of the family now, yet he still cannot bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stefan locks himself away in grandfather's bedroom every day. He will not talk to anyone. Gloria and Nathan still jump at every sound that so much as resembles the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple, and yet the house has become calm and quiet with his passing. But there is one more thing that must be done. Final farewell. It weighs heavily upon your soul. The day comes to pay your final respects. Father goes to the tomb alone, save for Stefan, Nathan, and you. Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles or those who may become nobles may join this ritual. There is a solemn silence as you walk to the crypt. Father is the one who breaks this silence when you finally reach the door of the family crypt. Your grandfather built this crypt, and now he will be the first Brante to remain here in body forever. First ever noble in our family. It is our duty to now hold to the sacrament of flowing blood for Sir Gregor. We will honor his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Brante dynasty. Stefan perks up at Father's words. His hands still clutch grandfather's sword. Tradition decrees that it must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan, on the other hand, looks even more frightened now. Stairs carved of white stone lead you downward. Deep in the gloom of the crypt, atop a pedestal, you see the sarcophagus that holds grandfather's body. Father takes a moment to compose himself before paying his final respects. Gregor Brante, my father, brought our family into nobility through his unshakable will. He was a judge and a loyal servant to the Empire. He lived his life as if he had been born a noble, and he never strayed from the path he had chosen. He sought to make the Brante family ennobled by the sword so that our children's children might be of noble birth. The twins know I abided by my father's words all my life, even if I could not obey him every time. Father lets off a bitter chuckle as he says this. Stefan glares at Father, then turns to glare at Nathan and at you. After all, the two of you were born of Father's shameful decision to marry a commoner. Oh, so Stefan's gonna be a dick again, huh? All of you remember his disastrous passing. He did not die the true death he deserved, yet we all must know that he fought for the future he believed in to the very end, and he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with the sacrament of the nobility. Stefan still glares at Father sullenly. His fingers remain clutched around grandfather's sword. Nathan barely pays attention to the words, looks around with unease, his arms folded across his chest. Father reaches into his jacket and pulls out a slender dagger, thin and sharp. He takes off his gloves. Watch me carefully, my son. Make a small cut on the palm of your hand and let your blood flow into this duct on the wall of the crypt. It'll join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. Then ancestor and progeny will become as one. We shall enter our family's blood tide and receive grandfather's final blessing. For his blood flows first in our blood tide. He will respond to you. You are part of him and he is part of you. With a quick motion, Father slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening in the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stefan. Stefan cuts his hand without hesitation and does as Father did. You receive the dagger next. The dagger's handle feels warm. You hesitate for a moment as you look at the palm of your hand. If you participate in this ritual, you will enter the Brante blood tide. You, a low-born child, a child who is still a commoner. Are you ready to claim your legacy as a descendant of the nobleman Gregor Brante? The eyes of your father and brothers are upon you. Nathan, the youngest brother, will follow your example. You can be certain. I think we just bleed. Yeah. Really want to get that willpower. The willpower might be nice, but I want to hit the blood type. Howdy, Karada. You remember that fateful day when you were 8, the day when you tried to choose a different lot for yourself. You violated the ritual in the temple. You kissed the sword, and against all odds, you said you had the right to be a nobleman. And now you must confirm this right. You must join the Brante blood tide. You grasp the dagger firmly, then hold the blade to your skin and quickly drag it across your palm. Drops of your blood fall into the duct, flowing further into the crypt as they combine with the blood of your father and brother. The fresh wound burns on your hand. What are you doing, Ryan? Why did you have to take these two along, Father? This ritual is for nobles, and you two aren't even noblemen. His eyes meet Father's stern gaze. No one is to interrupt the sacrament. Indignant as he is, Stefan falls silent. You hand the dagger to Nathan. Your younger brother hesitates. Father offers him help, but Nathan shakes his head. Finally, he makes a cut, and Nathan's blood joins yours in the duct of the crypt. The deed is done. It is time to close the sarcophagus. The lid falls into place with a heavy, resonant thud. Then suddenly, you all freeze as each of you hears your late grandfather speak to you. His voice is loud as it rings in the depths of the crypt, and yet he speaks to each of you separately. Do you think yourself Spooky? So you think yourself my descendant? Son of a low-born woman? There, well, time will tell how much nobility you have within. But know this, I am your ancestor. You are my flesh and blood. I will be watching you always, and my shadow will follow you forever. Do not let me down, boy. Grandfather's voice falls silent. You glance at your father and brothers, astonished, save for Stefan. Everyone else is dumbfounded as well. The ritual is complete. Stefan reverently kisses the grip of Grandfather's sword and places it in the alcove above the sarcophagus. Once all is done, you leave the crypt together. Cool, fresh wind blows in your face as you return to the surface. Stefan storms off to the carriage, fuming. Father stops halfway to the carriage and hugs Nathan and you briefly. Now your blood belongs to the dynasty of Sir Gregor Brante as well. Okay. Okay, so if we hadn't taken the nobleman's sacrament, we would not have been able to do the blood tide. Okay. Forbidden law. Oh! Meet a girl. I wish I could. Another day of school is behind you. You are now wandering your district, taking your time before going home. It is getting dark. Soon, you are walking past the splendid mansion of Count El Velasco, one of Magra's richest landlords. You hear a familiar voice from the other side of the iron fence. It is Stefan's voice. It is followed by the sound of a young lady laughing. You peek through the fence and into the mansion's garden, and indeed, there you see your elder brother, dressed like he is going to meet the Emperor himself. He is currently busy helping a pretty young lady out of the window. She locks him in an emotional embrace. You recognize her, Maria El Velasco, Count El Velasco's daughter. And as the whole city knows, she is already betrothed to another young nobleman from a far more illustrious family. Oh shit. Oh, Maria, I thought I would help you come down to earth from your heavenly abode, but your very touch brings me to the heavens. Simp. What a simp. Must be nice. He picks the Count's daughter up and holds her in the air. She laughs, almost imperceptibly, and kisses him on the cheek. But then Stefan takes her by the chin and turns her to face him. Their lips join in a kiss. A flurry of emotion washes over you as you watch it happen. Stefan is putting the reputation of an entire family at risk. Acting so frivolously with the Count's daughter may turn the Count's influence against all the Brontes. And yet Stefan always speaks so highly of noble bearing and composure, and family honor. Stefan's face is glowing with joy. Your older brother, he is happy. Truly happy. You have never seen Stefan like this as his arms hold the Count's daughter in a tender embrace so gently, as though he fears to hurt her, and Maria reciprocates his feelings. Must you really rob them of their secret joy? If you ever speak to him about this, no one else must hear it. You wait by the gate patiently until Stefan decides to return from his escapade. He is startled when he finally notices you standing by the gate. Shit. I mean, what did our brother ever do for... Our brother's a dick, though. Fuck! But who am I to be like a nobleman's honor? I'm not... I don't act like... I think we will aid Stefan in his cause. What are you doing here at this late hour, Ryan? Is there something you wish to tell me? You confessed to Stefan that you saw him today in the El Velasco garden with the Count's daughter. This affair puts both families' honor at risk, yet you say you are happy for him. You can see how much he cares for her. No matter what, it is worth the risk. Stefan can trust you with his secret, you assure him. The two of you will keep it together. Stefan reacts to you with anger at first, but your supportive words calm him down. You've got all the makings of a professional spy, but you're right. The risk is too great. Your aid will not go amiss. You are no nobleman yet, but I hope your word is worth my trust. From that day on, you helped Stefan and Maria avoid attention on many occasions. You even have to distract El Velasco's manservants and lead them away on a wild goose chase through the district. In the end, you are never caught. You earn your brother yet another night with his beloved. They are both aware that the days of their hidden love are numbered. But how will your escapades affect the family's reputation? When your brother agree, whatever happens, happens. Young love is worth this risk. Aww. How cute. I wish that was me. Poets. Dead Poet Society? Huh? This isn't. Today, you and Thomas are to explore the streets of the castle district. You delve deep into the district, right to the old siege walls of Anazot. The city needs these walls no longer. There are no more enemies left for the Empire to fight. Since the twins descended and chose the Tempest dynasty to rule the Empire, it has spread one sea to sea, bringing its rule and peace for many generations. The two of you gaze in awe at the old charcoal black marks on the former fortress walls. They say magic wielders during Charmelonitis' rebellion could conjure gusts of fire with their own hands. The rebellious Duke fought against the Emperor and the Church of the Twin Gods in the days of yore, but nothing remains of his rebellion now save for scorched ruins and parched land throughout Magra. You and your friends study the old walls and daydream about the battles that took place here during the rebellion. But then you hear a muffled voice coming from somewhere below the ground. You look around and find a hole in the brickwork where the sounds are coming from. Naturally, you take a peek. You see a half-ruined hall built below the ground and a handful of young men and women standing there in the dark. They look a little bit older than you and are wearing plain shirts and dresses. A young man is standing on a piece of crumbled wall, reciting some of his poetry. It tells the story of a nobleman who fell into a puddle thanks to his gaudy cloak, and none of his noble bearing was of any help. He ends it with a farcical bow. You hear applause and laughter. Clap, clap. Oh. He gets down from the crumbled wall, and a young girl takes his place. You cannot see her face in the darkness, but hers is a voice you could recognize anywhere. It is Gloria. your sister begins to recite a poem she has written. Nay, Gloria, yours is no proper life. You are to be a mother and a wife. Accept the kitchen apron for a gag, and lo, another voice now takes a crack. You're straying from your lot, you've got some nerve. Eyes down and be obedient and serve. Your husband, children, house, they are your absolute. Nay, Gloria, you are but rotten fruit. You lean down to hear her better, but sand and stones fall from under your feet and into the underground hall. Gloria looks up and meets your gaze. Thomas pulls you away from the hole. So they're reading poems, imagine that. They sure hate nobles, and even Gloria. I never thought your sister could do that, but they're sure gonna get in trouble if they get spotted by an adult. Bad-mouthing a noble will get you flogged into next week. Not to mention all the trouble you can get into for writing poems if you're a commoner. You'd better tell your sister to lay off. You'd better stay away from them too. You nod. Being around these people puts Gloria in great danger. But you know your sister. It will not be easy to tell her this. Your adventure in the castle district is done for tonight. You and your friend return home. During dinner, Gloria will not look at you. Her hair is disheveled. Is she afraid or is she ashamed? You are also worried sick. These literary gatherings may spell danger for your sister. But for an illegitimate child like her, there are so few ways to forge her own path. Dinner is over. Soon, you and Gloria are alone at the table. What are you going to tell her? Now, we keep the secret. Yeah. Yeah, no question. We keep the fucking secret. We're a chill brother. We're keeping our brother's secret that could ruin the family honor and get us in a bunch of political drama. So we're gonna help our sister too. Why not? Gloria finally looks at you. You wink at your sister and promise to keep her secret. You praise the poetry you were able to overhear and confess that you were impressed. A big, joyous smile appears on her face. We are, yeah. We're fucking Littlefinger here. No, we're Varys. Varys, yeah. Varys from the books, though, not Varys in the show. Varys in the show was nerfed. And then so was Littlefinger. Really, season 4 was the last good season. I'm gonna be honest, that's my hot take. I'm so happy, brother. I thought you were about to tell me to stop going there and say what Mother says about my lot. But I'm glad you're not like that. Me and my friends, without our poetry, we don't have anything else left. Nothing but our abysmal daily lives. At least we can laugh about it this way. You get serious and tell her that her friends need to work much harder to hide their meetings. After all, this secret passion could end badly for them if they get caught. The best way out of this is to meet in a new place every time. You list off several abandoned places nearby where nobody will look for them. You promise her that if she ever comes close to danger, you will be there to protect her. Ah! Gloria nods and plants a kiss of sisterly joy on your cheek. Ba-bum! Grandfather's passing and last respects have left a mark on the entire family. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in your mind. You still do your best to avoid the memory of grandfather's last night, spend more time on the city streets with Thomas and your other classmates. The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes as you walk along that road, you recall Sophia, a beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes and the terrifying thundering hooves. You have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say her parents sent her to a rich Arcane family, the Autons, as a servant. The sun has set. The pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Thomas is ill, so you decide to visit him and tell him the latest news. The streets seem oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and hushed voices. A young nobleman in a heavy embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He, an Archnean. You overhear voices. Sir Alton! The girl's not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home, too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must. But bring my servant back to me. She's here! Sophia ran away from an Archnean? How can this be? There's only one place on the entire street where a person could hide. The abandoned Moral House, 4 houses away from yours. You head there, doing your best not to attract attention. The lopsided house built of yellow brick has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. You glimpse a figure inside even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after another 4 years. Sophia's grown up. She is almost an adult now, and her face is full of fear. She is not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you, Ryan. Be quiet. Looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Alden. I might be in for a lesser death here, but I'd rather die than spend another day in their slavery. Just a thing to him, just a toy to play with. No. No. Oh, I'm killing that. Can I kill the Archnean? Oh, if I killed the Archnean, I'd probably be sentenced to a true death. You don't fuck with the Archneans. They're the ruling class, man. Yeah. Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. There is a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the men I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Alton. You don't want to be the target of their ire, but you aren't going to tip them off, are you? Barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you can answer. One of Alton's servants is so close you can hear his cloak swishing against the ground. He notices something and calls for the others. There are more voices around you now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed, and impatient. You have already heard this voice today. If you're in there, girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven, and you will go back where you were. You know it, and if you don't, I'll drag you out by the hair. Oh no. The hilt of the young Archnean sword bashes at the door. He is about to lose his patience for good. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. He glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Archnean's orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? Are you kidding me? Oh, fucking balls! I want to restart, man. I want to restart this chapter. I want my willpower. No, I'd have to go back to chapter 1, I think, to get the willpower. Fuck. Because we're definitely not giving her up. You swiftly turn away from Sophia's desperate gaze and flee to cower in a dark corner. A pained sigh reaches your ears. You do not respond. You need to hide. The front door slams open. Heavy footsteps echo from the entrance. The irate Archnean strides right past your hiding place, paying you no heed whatsoever. Where are you, you little tramp? There's no hiding from me. A shadowy figure streaks past you. Sophia. A high-pitched, furious scream slices through the silence. A blinding golden flash explodes in front of you. A sudden cascade of sparks burning through the darkness. As you blink, stunned, Alton's tall figure freezes and suddenly collapses. The golden sparks are still dancing before your eyes. A sudden pain seems to rupture your skull from the inside. Through the light and the pain, you barely catch a glimpse of Sophia as she dashes past the prone Archnean and runs out the door. The It takes Otton a few long moments to regain his senses. He gets up with a curse and runs after Sophia. So she's a witch too, and get her, now! You hear men running, shouting, and barking orders on the other side of the wall. You lie there on a pile of old bricks, rubbing your eyes. The strange stupor slowly leaves you. You get to your feet and walk unsteadily out of the abandoned house. Danger has passed. You walk back home, lost in thought. So Sophia is a witch. You recall how her magic bound Otton by the arms and legs. I lost all control of his body. The runaway servant girl becomes the talk of the district for an entire week. You hear that Sophia has managed to flee the city. The Ottons are furious. Sophia has vanished from your life just as suddenly as she came. You will not see her again for quite some time. Ah! Man! We're almost to adulthood. Whew! Let the voice relax a little bit. Whew, okay. Water. You're about to turn 15, just one step away from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria. She carefully tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders and her hands clench into fists. No, don't you dare leave home today. I forbid it. That dirty heretic Fotis is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that. You and Gloria glance at each other again. Fotis. He is a patriarch, the head of the clergy throughout the entire province. That is the first time you have heard Mother speak like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face. She's about to play a trick on someone. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear that sermon for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Fotis? Why does Mother hate him so much? You two are grown-ups now. Surely you have the right to know. You agree with your sister. Together, you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all ranks and estate. There's barely enough room for you to squeeze through the crowd. The crowd is gathered around the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up to the roof of a nearby building so you can hear and see everything better. And not a moment too soon. From the roof, you see a tall, silver-haired priest step onto the platform by the tree, dressed in the common black robe that looks far beneath his rank. Yet he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind, the open book. This is the symbol of the new faith, the crowd whispers. The patriarch holds his hands up to the sky, and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Fotis speaks of a great mistake. We entrusted ourselves to the lots as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world. But for all these years, the will of the twins has been interpreted for us by a single man, Prophet Asatius. The twins are ever watching from atop the shining pillar. Of this we have no doubt, but how can we so blindly believe that we truly follow their will by following the lots? Have we not seen the three lots of Asatius fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in a life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Ocnian, low-born or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. From now on, we will seek the gods in the accounts of their own lives, in their own accounts in this world, and in their own words that they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own. The crowd at the silver tree listens to the patriarch's speech in stunned silence. You glance at your sister. Her eyes glisten with tears as she hears Fotis' words. And suddenly a hoarse cry arises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are going to till the fields and the commoners are going to bear arms? The crowd begins to murmur. The patriarch raises an arm and inhales, ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform. A dirty beggar dressed in rags. A knife flashes in his hand. The blade slices. Blood starts spurting from Fotis' throat. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads across the platform where he had stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence and the screams begin. The people are frantic. The temple guards try to restore order in the crowd, but to no avail. An old woman dressed in an inquisitor's cassock tries in vain to apply pressure to the Patriarch's wound. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking. The crowd is pushing and shoving. Children are crying. The entire square by the tree is in chaos. From the roof, you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, braying, shouting. Gloria tugs on your sleeve. To go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while, so no one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in her room. You do not discuss the things you have just seen. They are too frightening, but your parents discuss every little detail of the blood-stained sermon over dinner. This is unbelievable. A patriarch murdered in plain sight? The gendarmes and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. I can't even imagine a more gruesome crime. Fotis has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my children. Once you are granted great power by the twins' will, there is no hope for you to come back, not even after the first of your deaths. Emperors, their powerful vassals, heads of great Archnean dynasties, patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. Fotis is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch, children. Let us hope he managed to return to the true old faith before the moment of his passing. But there is little hope for that. Okay. Oh! Tomorrow you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Sirs Tibor's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Thomas will go there with you to try his luck in the Imperial Capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there's only one goal for you. You must become a student in the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows? Maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the blue book and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then Mother speaks to you carefully. There is worry in her eyes. Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stefan, your firstborn was born a noble. You will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the path of the priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, you would never defy the will of a nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just to become a snoot like Stefan and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Ryan. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There is no way you can stay now, say. But when you come home, and you will come home, you will tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have been learned. All your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tonight. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You will walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read your fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend all her time. Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions. The backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. Yeah. Whew. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms, but you hesitate. Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan, it will be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours at home with? Shit, that's a big question. I feel like we gotta spend time with our little bro. We gotta spend time with Nathan. He gave us a hug, man. Nathan is already in bed, snoring. You approach your brother quietly and pat him on the head. He is startled, but starts smiling with joy when he realizes it is you. Hey, can we go outside? I need your help with something. You creep silently downstairs. The air outside is damp and drops of dew glisten in the night. Nathan drags you towards the bushes. A spotted kitten looks at you from the bushes with sad eyes. You see a bowl of water and some scraps of food next to it. Look, he ran into our yard today. See, he's got a broken paw. We need to save the poor kitten. You pat Nathan on the head. Together, you sneak the poor animal into the house and take him to the storage closet. Then you close the closet door and begin the treatment. If anyone is clumsy in your family, it is Nathan, yet his hands are unusually accurate and calm as he binds the kitten's paw. You start chatting as you treat the kitten. As you think out loud about living in the capital and working towards your goal, Nathan strokes the poor animal's wet fur. Guys, it's tough for me, you know, thinking about being grown up. I'm not much of anything, even now. I wish I could be like you. You sure know where you're going and who you're going to be. You shrug. No, I mean it. I can't be like that. They say I'm going to study too and go to the Eterna and become a priest or go to college, but there's no way I can make it there. Does that mean there's nothing else out there for me? You'll be leaving soon and I'll be all alone. You'll write to me, I know you will, and you'll come back one day, but I'm scared. Scared I might lose my way when you're not around. I'll come back, but it'll be different. Be different. I'll be different too. You swear to Nathan that even if everything changes, you will always be his brother. You will always be there to offer him advice and support, and you have no doubt that he will find his way in life. It just takes time to find yourself, sometimes more than you might expect. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you are not tired at all. Nevertheless, it is time for bed. And before you leave, Nathan hugs you again. Please promise you'll come back, Ryan. You swear to him that you will. You get into bed and fade away into a gentle, happy sleep. They will be waiting for you back here, no matter what. I have a feeling my family is going to fucking die. After that, you leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Whew. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, in the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding streets of Anazoth. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed first-hand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and the true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by the flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet you live on. You have a friend who's been by your side all these years. Thomas taught you many things: how to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. Now Thomas is walking to the same carriage as you are with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital in adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? What does await us? Woo! All your qualities from childhood and adolescence will now convert into adulthood qualities. Okay. Continue. We are now a youth.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set
More
out
death.
for the capital of the
That's what awaits
Empire.
us. Yeah.
There, I would discover my role in society.
The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Thomas's younger brother in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the Imperial Capital. You have often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stefan. It is a city that surpasses Anazat enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. What is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there, and where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anazat. Somewhere within them is the old fortress you and Thomas built together out of old wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, now abandoned, or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you can feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you. They are behind you now, in Anazat. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you lie many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and your place in society. Oh shit! These are your personal qualities in adulthood which you will use for the rest of your life. They are the sum of the qualities that you have gained in childhood and adolescence. For most skill checks, you will need a value between 10 and 16. Values 17 to 19 are required for rare and especially difficult choices. The maximum value 20 only gives you a chance for one extraordinary deed. Ooh. We can manipulate people. Well, we're a canny manipulator. It's gonna be our highest. Oh, we're a follower. We're not a follower. Oh fuck, our valor sucks. Most important, we're not a good judge. We're not a good schemer. Conspirator. So right now, okay, so our right now I think our highest would probably be judge though. We are not eloquent at all. Man, our values kind of suck. I can fucking die? What? Events in this? Ooh, that's a lot. Your personal qualities in this chapter, they will be used for the rest of your life. Yep. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Thomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even manage to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. Soon, I tell you, soon we'll be there, and I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted in the military academy. You'll see. Nobody's gonna walk over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon, you are almost at the end of your long journey. You have left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Ocnia. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Reglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the main city streets. Gilded moldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marble fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets, you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Ocnian coats of arms and abundant merchants' tents, filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Promises to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then your friend disappears in the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They are dressed in well-fitting clothing decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains and the smells of baked bread and garbage drains. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. Streetlights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You are all alone with this city so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age, their clothes are hand-tailored, and 2 of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various states greet each other as they take their seats. The servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you'd better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open and worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Fotis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colors of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. Yo, how the fuck could I? There ain't no way I'd be... I ain't social enough to pick up those kind of fucking cues. Unrealistic. This game 0 out of 10. Too unrealistic. You can't pick up on... Nope. I refuse to believe it. Immersion broken. They turn the corner and walk away. You can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly, loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time to come. Join in the merriment. Visit the temple? No. Yeah, run after the student. She smiles, you smile back. That's it. Yeah. You know, and you gotta do... You do the white man smile. No, that wasn't the one. There it is. Hello. I don't even know how we white people pick it up. How my people pick up that smile. I don't even know where I learned it from, man. I just do it. Run after the students. We're gonna have fun in our first night in the city. That was loud. The students' merriment is infectious. You join their group. They are almost your age, maybe 1 or 2 years older. You see so many faces, and soon you are in a tavern somewhere in the city, getting to know so many people at a massive table. So many people, you do not even bother to remember their names now, and the wine, it flows like water. A lively tune is playing in the tavern. A girl just a little bit older than you pulls you off your seat to dance. Her dress is unbuttoned a bit more than it is supposed to be. She smells of wine and honey. You copy her emotions in the dance as your hand clasps her waist. It slides lower of its own accord. Oh. She pulls you away suddenly and stares into your eyes. Kisses you on the... Now that's unrealistic. Never happens. You are startled at first, but soon you respond to the kisses. You pull her soft. Oh my. You spend all night dancing, only returning to the table to catch your breath and quench your thirst. The girl keeps embracing you and laughing and pouring even more wine into your glasses. She's gotta be fucking blackout drunk for this to be realistic. Like, come on. You feel at ease. You feel carefree. You feel happy. You do not remember returning to the lodging house. Your head and legs are aching in the morning. You can barely remember the names of last night's companions. After some consideration, you choose to remain in bed for the rest of the new day. Well, we got fucking wasted, dude. Wasted, bruh. We got wasted, bros. Let's go. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Fotis on the day of his assassination. The crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at an icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a gray-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognize that face of the late Patriarch Fotis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with a coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Archnia. He casts a stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the shining pillar. Exactly 1 year ago, we lost Fotis, Patriarch of the Magra province, mentor of the new faith. Patriarch Fotis was the first to see the books of Asatius for nothing but the words of a man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell their people to seek the path to the gods in their own hearts instead of blindly following the lots. To seek answer in the lives of the twins in their own hearts rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Fotis, we were able to see the truth. Through his death, we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth that used to be obscured by Asatius' lies. Now I bring good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Junius Diamant, an Archnian from a great dynasty and the Patriarch of Astinia, has joined the new faith himself. And through this, we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth, and one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins. Not for the lot they were given as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch Sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Fotis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The fates of Junius Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Archnian from a great dynasty has sided with Fotis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down its roots. It's the Inquisition. No one expects it. Suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black with glinting silver on their sides. Inquisitors. They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rises before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you are hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily. We want to listen to Luke! He is the Patriarch of Ocnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots. Inquisitors, bring those who may yet listen back to the lots and leave the others to the champions of the faith. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who chose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it in smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man of age with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words despite yourself. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust. But I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see their light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? You feel no malice in the words of the Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you, to guide you away from error and set you on the path of the true faith. He's a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. I refuse to be ordered around by him. It is not the clergy's place to give orders. Oh, rest the voice. You strike a pose of authority. This is my pose of authority. I'm eyeing you sharply, Father Jeremiah. Inquisitors cannot order people around, you say. It is not within the lot of the clergy. Only nobles can give you orders. The other commoners look at you in terror. You have just defied an Inquisitor. However, Father Jeremiah still looks at you without any of the anger you had expected. My son, your words do indeed contain a germ of truth. I am Inquisitor of the clergy, and by the will of the twins, I cannot give you any order. Know this. The Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspected of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We rescue dangerous doctrines. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you any orders. But if the need arises, I will summon the champions of faith, nobles who will be there to give orders and punish those who defy the church. But as long as you are not calling for the overthrow of faith, you are safe from them. And, as you said, it is not within my lot to give you orders. You are free to go, but expect no mercy in the hereafter, for after we die, there will be none. With a bitter smile, the Inquisitor leaves you and proceeds further. You leave the square freely, your dignity preserved. The remaining people in the square continue arguing with the other Inquisitors. Armed champions of faith stand nearby, but they do not intervene. Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. Only one thing keeps nagging at you. Father Jeremiah's words about how there will be no mercy in the hereafter. Alright, it is first pee break time because gotta stay hydrated during this game, and I have drank so much fucking water. So, fan cam. Woo! Fan Kingdom! Yay! Everyone's fucking favorite. Be right back. Ah, 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 ah. Fucking fan simp. Imagine being a simp for a fan. Disgusting. Disgusting. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons, with Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Archnia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Archnia, his every sermon adding to the new faith's law. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Junius Diamant, hailing from a great Archnian dynasty. He is the de facto ruler of Astinia province. Adored by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Junius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Astinian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. This schism within the church is growing. The split has further the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there has been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Fotis, it grows stronger by the day. Dun dun dun! The next few weeks pass by in hard work in preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. You grow more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautiful still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps in the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. You don't feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently, you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle just like you, sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college. You decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of the dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers in the Empire doing what they do best. You have never seen professional duelers fight. It must be far more exciting than Father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins in Anazon. And if luck favors you, perhaps you can even make useful contacts among the noble families in the capital. The others try to convince the rest to take a trip to a certain secret salon. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight. They say a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take you there as long as you aren't afraid to learn a dangerous truth. There are others still drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say. Speeches? Nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Marquian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offers pleasures for everyone. Pleasures of the palate, pleasures of drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and a crime? Perhaps, and yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the end, your group splits in three to spend the night as they see fit. What will it be? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with people who defy their lot with audacity? You weigh your options. Ooh, scheming. Ooh, man. I want to be a warrior. I'm gonna go to the dueling club. You march down the street towards the dueling club, which is located in a manor house directed... How did I get directed out of decorated? Oh, fuck. We're only an hour, 20 minutes in the stream. Ugh. You march down the street towards the dueling club, which is located in a manor house decorated rather modestly on the outside, but lavishly on the inside. One of your newfound friends nods to the servants and they let you in. The rooms are stuffy, noisy, and filled with tobacco smoke. The sitting room is enormous. In the center is an arena, a circle with wooden railings. Two young nobles are fighting there already. On guard! You take a glass of wine from a servant and watch the fight from one of the many soft chairs. You cannot bear a sword yet, but nobody says you cannot watch. As soon as a dueler is wounded, the fight ends, but the way they fight still makes the audience gasp and scream in awe. When a dueler is too slow to dodge, the duel ends with a bright red line cut through a sweat-soaked white shirt. Fuck. Alright, I guess that's my cue to let my voice rest for a little bit. Whew! The thin fencing swords cut through the air so quickly you only see glints of flashing steel like lightning in a storm. You do your best to remember all the feints and tricks you see tonight. They will come in handy when you earn your own sword. But then a tall young Arcanian enters the room. He barges in from behind you and leaps in the arena between the two fencers, thus ending the duel. He bears a coat of arms of the Griffin. This Arcanian hails from the great dynasty of Orgriff. The Arcanian's voice booms as he challenges everyone in the audience to a duel. He sneers smugly. If you consider yourself nobles, then how about you face an Arcanian lord in honorable combat? No one moves. No one dares to step forth. A duel with an Arcanian is suicide, especially if that Arcanian hails from one of the great dynasties. Such a duel will end with a lesser death at best, or the true death through trial and execution at worst. Everyone knows the punishment for spilling blue blood, and so everyone remains silent. The Ocnian grins. So humans are cowards, he says. You will never be true nobles if you are never ready to risk a lesser death. Then Ocnian honor and tradition is not for you, and war is not your domain either. For human nobles are but a mockery, a gathering of animals dressed to resemble higher beings. A man leaps onto the arena. He is tall as a tree. His pockmarked face is white with rage and covered in scars. There are whispers of reference in the audience. This is Marth Ferasti, the owner of the club. He has accepted the challenge for the honor of all human nobles. He has yearned to fight an Arcanian all his life. Now is his chance. The duelers salute each other, and Sir Ferasti begins the attack. A lunge, a jab, another, and then another. The young Arcanian deflects each attack like he knows his opponent's every move. Sir Ferasti's eyes twitch with tension. The owner of the club lunges again, but the Arcanian deflects his sword and rips the weapon out of the human's hands. Marth Ferasti looks at the Arcanian in confusion, and bows his head in recognition of his defeat. The Orgriff youth flashes a proud, superior grin. His fencing sword lifts the sleeve of his defeated opponent. It bears 3 black marks of lesser death. Now, the young Arcanian eyes Ferasti with a mockery of sadness and compassion. Why, it appears the poor, over-eager ex-commoner is on his last life. Ferasti shudders. He asks the Orgriff youth to be so kind as to spare his life. Nobleman to a nobleman. The Arcanian's face grows dark and grim. His sword stabs deep into Frosty's chest. Then the Orgriff's youth speaks, loud enough for everyone to hear. He is the only noble in this hall, he says, and everyone who saw this must forget the dueling club ever existed and leave this place never to return. The nobles scowl, dress reluctantly, and leave with quiet resentment. No one dares to defy the Arcanian openly. The noble gathering disperses outside. You return to your lodging house, lost in thought. Arcanians stand far above humans. They do not care if you are a commoner or a high-ranking noble. In their eyes, you are only a human. It seems there is nothing that can readily oppose Arcanian power. They are the masters of this world, and humans are pale reflections of them at best. The trip to the dueling club ended on a grim note, but you learned a lot from watching Eterna's best duelers in action. You recall their lunges and blocks before you sleep, rather than the master of the dueling club being murdered. Cold blood. Oh boy. Woo! Woo! You are on your way to the largest library in Eterna to study for your entry exams. It is right next to the college. The streets are full of people. Everybody's excited. You hesitate for a few seconds, then let your curiosity get the better of you and head towards the place where you will soon study. Before long, you hear the shouting. The Great Chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the Empire. You cannot possibly miss this. You mix with the crowd and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college, you see a small tribune guarded by 2 Arcanians armed with swords. This is the first time you have ever seen an Arcanian standing guard, let alone 2 of them. The doors of the college open to reveal a stately Arcanian surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, Great Chancellor of the Empire, a younger brother to the Emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Arcanians' arrival. The 2 nations built the Empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Magro is the final province to attain the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Arcanian Empire. Yet there was another great event long before that. 1,000 years ago, the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will. They showed us their love and their law, and they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. They chose the dynasty of Tempest to rule the Empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the Empire to further prosperity. And so the great Imperial Council is soon to review and adopt a new set of laws called the Creed. Under the Creed, all the states will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all Imperial citizens to obey, human or Arcanian, from the lowest commoner to the Emperor himself. The strife among the estates will end. A single law will resolve all of our quarrels. Glory to the Empire. The Great Chancellor throws his arms in the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. Cornelius Tempest casts another look over the crowd and leaves. The crowd disperses. The sounds of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true that the Emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the Empire then? Huh. Okay. Oh no. Wait. Is this gonna be the girl we almost got killed, or priest girl? It is early morning. You have been awake since sunrise studying. There is a knock at the door. Is it a letter from home or a hotel servant? You open the door and freeze, stunned. Hello, Brante. Before you stands Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She is all grown up now. You look so different, but you would always recognize those blue eyes no matter what. What the fuck? You gesture for her to come in. Sophia enters the room, glances around, and sits in an armchair. You eye the girl you used to know as you sit across from her, but the young woman you see now has little in common with the girl you used to know. There's cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short. What is she doing here? I can explain. Been living in Eterna for a long time now, ever since I ran away from Anazat. I heard the other day that you'd left for the capital to get into the college. I found you, and here I am. You ask how Sophia learned about your arrival and where you were staying, but she answers your questions with an enigmatic smile. We'll get to that later. Right now, I want to see how much you've changed since we last saw each other. As for me, I've changed a lot. I'm a whole different person now. You look away as you recall your previous encounter, back when Sophia ran away from her Archnean master. Sophia chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I traveled through the entire Empire all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all its important people and events. This is the heart of the Empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, found people I can truly call my family. I've even gotten an education of sorts, and I have a purpose now. I fight against injustice. I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I came to you for a good reason. I need help. I know you. I have faith in your good heart, and besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. There's a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dextra. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dextra is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. As you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college, but Dextra, he is a commoner. He forged his patent ability to get a position at the college. But the secret chancellery recently learned of this. Dextra is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is that justice? A man wants to teach people, and for this they're going to take all his lives? They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong estate? It's evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dextra deserves to be rescued. I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're almost a noble. If you help me get Dextra out of the city, no one will suspect anything. No one will know, and the scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. You help me. You feel perplexed by Sophia's sudden request. She is asking you to break Imperial law and undermine the work of the secret chancellery to save this scholar? Rescuing Dextra would be an adventure, but it would also be incredibly dangerous. Besides, Dextra is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current position. How much does this matter to you? Sophia's blue eyes are steady, waiting for your reply. Yeah, I feel like we gotta help her. Oh, but the voice. Rest. Okay. Help you. Joke's on you, Stuff. You wouldn't be able to use the internet down there. So that's a lie. Ha! You promised to help Sophia. Bartholomew Dexter does not deserve this. He has to leave the capital. She can count on you. I knew I could count on you. Then we must act at once. There's no time to waste. Dexter is to be arrested tomorrow. Here's his address. Go there as soon as the sun sets. No one will suspect you. Dexter often tutors young men for the college entrance exams. Why did you say that so deeply? Why not? Why are you accusing me of falsities, Stuff? I've plenty hydrated. Fuck off. Tell him the owl sent you. Use the back door to get out. A carriage will drive up to the backyard. The driver will hoot like an owl. He'll take you to the south gate. If the guards stop the carriage, just talk your way out of it. Once you're outside the city, Dexter will ride away in a different carriage. You will go back to the way you came, and I will meet you in Majesty Square. You nod to her words, and your hands start to shake. You are about to go against the secret chancellery. You are going to help someone escape punishment. To defy your own lot like this, it's unthinkable. When the sun sets, you leave the lodging house and walk quickly, glancing over his shoulder repeatedly. Bartholomew Dexter's house must be somewhere around here. You find the place. A genteel old man opens the door. His face is covered in wrinkles, his shoulders are stooped, and yet his eyes are sharp and lively. Bartholomew Dexter looks at you for a moment, then asks why you have paid him a visit. You tell him you want to enroll in the college and are looking for a tutor. Dexter nods and invites you inside. Once you make sure nobody else can see or hear you, you whisper to the scholar about the real reason for your visit. The secret chancellor will be coming for him tomorrow, and he has to leave now to escape true death. Dexter freezes and turns to you. How do you know about him and the secret chancellery? You tell him that the owl sent you and has provided for his escape. As for the secret chancellery, they want him for forging a patent of nobility. The moment you utter Sophia's name, the lecturer calms down and starts packing for the journey. You watch him distractedly and notice that he lives in a rather austere fashion. It does not take him long to pack. You hear the quiet clacking of hooves in the yard. Oh, Jesus Christ, my... Carefully, you and Dexter proceed to the backyard of the building. You see a carriage there. The driver hoots quietly. You get in. The carriage rolls down the road. There is tense silence in the closed-off space inside the carriage. The scholar wrings his hands anxiously.
Addition to my collection.
Thank you for the
Cheeky
prime stuff.
smiley face.
Through the carriage windows, you see the massive city gate passing by. You are almost outside the city, but then a loud voice reaches you. Halt! The driver obediently halts the carriage. 2 city gendarmes approach you. You leave the carriage to face the gendarmes before they can get a peek inside the carriage. They look you over and ask where you are going so late at night. You tell them you are the son of a judge in Magra, here to enroll in the college. And now you wish to visit the estate of a newfound friend. To convince them further, you mention the name of a noble son you have become friendly with. The gendarmes release the carriage and wish you a pleasant trip. You drive along the high road until you encounter a peasant wagon. Dexter will take it to seek refuge far away from the capital. Before the two of you part ways, he pats you on the shoulder and tells you that you have done a truly brave deed. You return to the city without incident. You find Sophia in Majesty Square as agreed, sitting on a bench by a streetlight reading a book of some sort. She closes the book when she sees you and offers you her hand. So, did everything go according to plan? You nod. And we've learned ourselves a bit of free time. Let's go. You set off on a walk through the maze of narrow back streets. Finally, you have some time for questions. What happened to Sophia over the last 2 years? Just as a girl before, a servant. How is she now a revolutionary? Sophia just smiles sadly. You've seen what I can... I'm not just a girl. The Inquisition caught up with me when I ran away from Anazat. I ended up in the House of Humility, a dreadful place. I got collared. You know how it feels to lose your free will, losing everything that makes you you. She unclasps the tall shirt collar that had been hiding her neck all this time, and you see the round mark from the anti-magic collar. They say a scar like this will remain even after a lesser death. I got lucky. Patriarch Junius Diamant saved me. Diamant took me and the other mages from the House of Humility and removed our collars.
A fine addition to my collection.
Stuff? Are you okay? Are you okay, Stuff? Totally. Lies. You're never okay. I know you too well. Ha! Got him. Dab. Thank you, Stuff. He made me one of his attendants. He taught me that there are no lots. He told me that I'm like this, not because I'm a freak, but because it's my nature. He told me I can find a path to the twins like anyone else in the world. And then I was taken. I got out on my own. I found my own lot to protect the common people from the noble yoke, to help others who are as unlucky as I am, to fight for a different world, a world where everybody has equal rights, a world where mages don't get robbed of their will just because of one aspect of their birth, a world where the nobles no longer tread upon the commoners. I was about to say... Yes, this is our dream, but we are still so far away from it, but I will keep moving towards it and I will stop at nothing. A strange, distorted expression... A strange, distorted expression appears on Sophia's face. She quickly returns to normal. You keep walking until you are at your lodging house again. For a moment, you just stand there looking at each other. Then suddenly, Sophia embraces you. For a moment, she remains still in your arms and whispers, "You should join my cause. If we work together, one day we'll become a force to be reckoned with. I know you came here to find your way, but I'll never believe you really want to bind yourself to other people's laws and desires for the rest of your life. The path I walk is dangerous. It's almost hopeless, but it's worth living for. Think about it. Goodbye." Then she disappears just as quickly and disappears in the dark streets of Eterna. You make your way back to your room, exhausted by the events of the day. Was this really just a single day in your life? Too bad, Stuff. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I give you a PDF file of like 20 plus games that I currently own. And, yeah. You pick from that list. You have said this before, Stuff, and I have given you this same answer. So don't you complain about that shit. Unless you gift it to me. But do you really want your money to go to waste like that and just have me be mad? And just give me headaches? Shut the fuck up, both of you. Fuck both of you. The Long Dark is also good. Oh wait, isn't that one very depressing? That's the one like in like a war scenario, right? No. What is it? And I'll actually send you the PDF stuff. I think I can. You're on an island off the coast. Oh, it's that game. I think I watched damn it. Nope, my voice needs a little bit more rest. I'm a mediocre fighter now.
I will never forget that day. For it was then that I chose the path I would walk for the rest of my life.
I don't own it yet, stuff. Fuck off. I spent enough money on the winter sale. I had none of those Assassin's Creed games before the winter sale, okay? I haven't started fucking working yet. Hopefully I'll have the job Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I have to get a physical and a TB test, which is ironic that I have to get a tuberculosis test literally after playing Red Dead 2. So like, that's ominous, if you ask me. So I think I'm gonna die. Yep, substitute teaching job, because I have my bachelor's degree now, so now I've paid $100 to fucking get a fucking, teaching license, and to send my fucking bit. And then now I had to spend $40 for a fucking fingerprint scan. And now Monday, I'm gonna have to pay $60 for a fucking physical and TB test. And I still don't, like, they've had me fill out tax information, but don't you? Yeah, I have the worst insurance. I still have to pay a copay. I'm poor stuff. I'm broke. There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam. History, law, theology. You spend all day reading and rereading the books you brought with you, staying at the Library of Eterna for hours, sometimes until it closes. As the day of the exam approaches, your hands start shaking more and more, and finally the day comes. My dot physical. A clear sky hangs over Eterna today. The breeze is warm. You dress in your best outfit. Department of Transportation? You see, mine's the Department of Education. I think the Department of Transportation might probably get more money than the Education Department. Well, maybe that's why. You dress in your best outfit, a gray jacket and velvet culotte trousers. You comb your hair carefully and polish your boots until they shine. You leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. Your legs grow heavier with each step. Your anxiety at the fact your fate will be decided today is virtually tearing you apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of it, you can already see several dozen people, young men, sons of nobles of the mantle like you, waiting for the college's doors to open. Time slows to a crawl. At last the doors open. A stately man dressed in a professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He is the dean of the college. The students to be fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. But the silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armor. A squadron of warriors emerge near the college, led by Archnean officers. Their banner bears an image of golden grains. The noble militia of Monia province. What are they doing here? The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college, each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Archneans is clad in an old-fashioned suit of armor. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar on the massive doors of the college into place, then proceeds to the stairs to address the crowd loudly. Commoners, before you stands Junius of the Monroe dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origins make you unfit for the great honor of rendering service to the Empire. A right that ought to be available only to the hereditary nobles of the sword. No, why are you leaving stuff? Stay and have fun. I need people here chatting. It makes this job fun. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong in the lowliest state, but have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and other traitors to the Empire, indulging you in defacing the institution of the nobility for their lowly interests. A noble lot for those of lowly birth, how can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the Imperial Order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to the humble trades of your ancestors. Plow your fields and mend your boots and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dares to set foot upon these stairs, you will be killed at once. The students-to-be meet this speech with stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing, however. The news of the Monian noble militia and the college's closing spreads through the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd. College students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be ennobled. Unrest grows around you. You hear people calling to rush Archduke von Rogue's forces to take control of the college and defend your right to become noble. The Emperor himself gave us this right. We have to fight for it. This is the decisive moment for all of you. The old gentry has challenged you. Will you accept this challenge? In the face of this shameful, illegal act by the Archduke's forces, you may prove that all of you deserve the noble lot. You will need to break through the cordon, get inside the college, and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt you if your presence is strong enough. If you are ready to risk it all and fight for your right to the nobility, you will have to lead the charge. People keep coming to the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Seminary. The lot of the clergy is to guide others to the right path. When the estates clash, the priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests begin telling the warrior nobles and the riotous commoners to return to the preordained divine order lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods, as the priests utter these words, the crowd around you disappears, a vision appears before your eyes. The Empire is ablaze. You see burning lands steeped with pain and despair everywhere you look, rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world. You can tell that soil scorched by such fire will never bear fruit again. The God's given vision demands to be heard, demands to be prophesied to the world, for only a priest may speak to the twins and for the twin. Will you keep it inside, or will you step onto the path the twins have revealed to you? Somebody shoves you in the back and you snap out of the vision. You turn around to see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They're led. Sophia. As soon as she sees you, she signals to them to stop. So you're here too, going to rush to the college already. Can't you see it already? The laws cannot be trusted. They gave you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. When the going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It's time for you to decide. We are the lotless, and we are not putting up with this system any longer. We will fight for a new world. Are you coming with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will maintain the siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going to go inside and pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own dynasty. Destiny. The tension in the square is palpable, and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles of the mantle, followers of a new faith, all of them are gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The lotless, led by Sophia, prepare to break through the siege to rescue the people in the college. And all the while, the priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is your only way into nobility. Only you can fight for your new lot, and you fulfill your duty to your family. You could organize an offensive strong enough to get into the college and thus seize your lawful right like a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of the gods still pulses in your mind. Once revealed, this vision will take you on a different path. Standing with the priests and preaching what you have just seen, warning all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates, bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Would this be your new lot? Sophia and the lotless, they expect you to join their struggle. They are waiting for you to cast off the old ways and the eternal yoke of subservience. If you choose this path, you will not change your lot and your suffering will continue. But your suffering might just change this one. This is the moment. Your future life will be decided here and now. Oh boy. Oh boy. No, that means we become a fucking priest. Ew. Oh. You get to work. Recalling the books on military tactics used to... Less cool than I thought. I mean, maybe we could become, like, a fucking, you know, the Pope. And like lead a holy crusade and become supreme god emperor. But like, You get to work, recalling the books on military tactics you used to study as a boy. You call out to the students and children and nobles around you and assume command. They hear you and they listen. You stand together in close formation and march toward the weakest link in the line of nobles, more people joining you along the way, a veritable phalanx of young men armed with nothing but determination against the nobleman's sword. The noble militia readies their steel. The Archnean officer in command of this section halts you and orders you to turn back. You step forward and give him your reply. These people are here to study at the college as the Emperor himself has decreed. You have every right to fulfill the Imperial law, and any nobles who dare to intervene will be defying Uther Tempest II himself. Your plan works. The officer hesitates when confronted with your words and your vigor. The noble militia is no longer ready to use their swords. This is your chance. You command your forces to focus their advantage in numbers for a singular push, and the militia line breaks. You reach the college gates. More people start running for the breach. The nobles get their bearings quickly enough to restore the line, but your phalanx is already inside. You waste no time and begin barricading the gate. The students who were stuck inside the college run toward you. You quickly tell them your plan, block all the doors and windows with whatever comes to hand before Monroe's forces get in. If they do get in, only the twins know what they will do. One by one, all the entrances are swiftly barricaded. The riot outside the college is calm for a moment, it seems. Through an open window, you hear Monroe giving orders to his militia. The Archduke is forming a strong perimeter outside the college, ready for a proper siege. Students and professors of the college go to the balcony to negotiate. You are among them. Surrender and leave this building. I am not here to kill you or execute you. No loyal subjects will die by my hand. The humans boo and jeer at Monroe's proposal. The dean himself appears on the balcony. The Imperial family established the college, he claims, and he cannot defy orders given by the great Archnean Tempest dynasty. And so the college remains besieged. The noble militia stands in a circle around the building, but there are no preparations for an assault. The outrage in the square continues. You remain in control of the college for the entire day and the following night. But at sunrise, the Emperor's herald arrives in the square. He brings news. The Emperor is delighted to see Archduke Monroe in the capital, yet he demands that the noble militia of Monia vacate the square and allow classes to begin at the college. Besieged college celebrates the news. This is the work of Cornelius Tempest, great chancellor, the Emperor's brother. He managed to convince the Emperor to order Monroe to withdraw. Even the Archduke of Monia, the most powerful noble lord in all the Empire, cannot disobey a direct order from the Emperor. Still, the college would never have held out for an entire day without your phalanx's determination and your daring plan. You, The people of the common estate have secured your right to study and earn the noble lot. The college is open again, and the entrance exam will take place in a few days. You aren't nervous at all this time. All the lessons at home, the books, the schooling, your own noble actions, all that work and effort has finally reached its culmination. The procedure for appointing a provincial overseer, the 5 great Arcanian dynasties, the property rights of all estates. You answer all these questions with ease. Hours pass, and the dean of the college reads the names of the new students to the young man gathered at the college steps. Your name is among the first. He praises what you did in defense of the college. People like you are the Empire's future, Sir Brante says. Sunlight fills the college square. It feels so soft and soothing here in Eterna, not as harsh as it gets in Anazot. You watch the pillars shine in the sky as you walk down the steps of the college. You are a Brante, the 3rd judge in the family, the man who will soon join the family's noble blood tide. You have seized your right to achieve the nobleman's lot. You should write to your father now. He will be so proud of you. Oh. Huh. Oh, path of the nobleman. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of the military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Thomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brante, hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He is beaming with pride. You invite him in and chat while you pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. I made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring and the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anazot. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to noble title. How about you? You tell Thomas about what happened over the past few days and of the path you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize that you may never see each other again. You know, Brante, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. The old tradition is to believe both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where fate takes them. What do you say? The 2 of you grew up side by side. Thomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. If you wear these rings, you will be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of your life. Bond of friendship, let's fucking go. You take the ring that will bind your fate to Thomas's and swear an oath of eternal friendship. You take one of the rings from his outstretched palm. The 2 of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Even now, you are walking in the same direction toward a noble title. You as a judge and Thomas as a warrior. Nothing will ever tarnish your bond. You swear an oath of eternal friendship to Thomas. Thomas solemnly swears the same. You put the brass ring on your pinky. Perfect fit. Thomas follows suit. He starts beaming again. Now we're friends forever, for all eternity. Gotta celebrate this. Come, come. I know a place I gotta show you. Tastiest meat I have ever tried, Brante. My treat. The 2 of you go to a noble salon by the square of Emperor Severin. Surrounded by tobacco smoke and mead bottles, you wag your tongues, recall the days of your adolescence, and make plans for the future. Nobody knows what could be waiting for you, but you promise you will never lose sight of each other. Ba-bum. As soon as you are accepted into the Imperial College, you send a letter back home. Family replies quickly. Their letter arrives in under a week. Most of it is covered with your father's handwriting. I am proud of you, my son. I believe your grandfather takes pride in you too. You have brought our family one step closer to being ennobled by the sword. You will make an excellent judge. I have complete faith in your intellect and your will. You shall bring glory to our family. Stefan's congratulations follow your father's. Congratulations, brother. The simple folk could only dream of what you have already achieved. You can thank father and grandfather for this opportunity, but it was you who proved yourself worthy. Once you receive your new lot, you and I will be equals at last. Well, fuck you, Stefan. Then, some words of praise from Mother and Nathan. You have brought your father much joy and made him proud, and I am witness to this. You now walk this path all thanks to him. Yet it saddens me that you did not consider the divine seminary, for you could have dedicated your life to our gods as well as the empire itself. You worked so hard for this. We held a big feast in your honor back home. I hope you achieved all you've ever wanted. And at the very end, there is a small note from your sister. Congratulations. Good luck. Gloria, no! It's Gloria. Why did we lose one with Gloria? That don't make no sense. It is only a few days since you became a student at the college. Your education has barely begun when an amazing piece of news surprises all the students. Every year, Cornelius Tempest, the great chancellor and the emperor's younger brother, grants an honor to all future nobles of the mantle and invites them to a masquerade at his summer palace. The professors and lecturers instruct you to look and act your best in order to preserve the college's honor. They tell you more about the ball, too. All who attend it from the college must prove themselves with word or deeds to the members of the great Archnean dynasties that will be present there. This means the reputation of your home province will be at stake too. It's time to get ready. You order a proper suit for the occasion and a mask to go with it. It looks simple, by no means plain, and only hides your eyes. The day comes, you spend an entire morning preparing for the ball. Your fellow students give you hints about how to attach the cuffs, keep the collar straight, and make sure your hair remains coiffed for the entire night. Soon, the carriages start flocking to Cornelius Tempest's summer palace. The tall, ornate outer fence surrounds a sprawling garden in full bloom. The marble-paved driveway is so wide My words! Is so wide it can accommodate 2 rows of carriages. You and your fellow students walk up the massive stairs to the front door of the palace. You seem tiny and incongruent against the background of the scenic grandeur. The Master of Ceremonies instructs all newcomers to seek their province's coat of arms. You see the banner of Magra from far away, depicting the silver tree digging its roots into the murky gray soil. Below it is a banner bearing the coat of arms of the Milonitis dynasty. It turns out students from the college were not the only ones invited to this party. The academy cadets lined up beneath the banners too, and Thomas is among them. A wide grin appears on his face when he sees you go under the banner of Magra. I just knew you'd be here today, pal. What can I say? Congratulations, student. As for me, I'm not so bad off myself. See? The military academy is father and mother to me now. His merry speech is interrupted by a tall, proud Archnean in a heavy cloak. You recognize him. He is Dorius Auten, Sophia's former master. Make way for your commander, soldiery. Last time you saw Auten, he was searching the back streets of Anazat by your house for a girl servant. But now the young Archnean's uniform betrays his high standing. He is young, yet he is already the province's commander. Who put him in charge of all the military forces of Magra at such a young age? What's wrong? You know him or something? A brief description of Alton is enough to wipe the smile off his face. You see no other high-ranking officials bearing the colors of Magra at this party. It seems Dorius Alton will be the main representative of your province tonight. You watch the other college students and academy cadets line up under the provincial banners. The blue and silver banner of Archnia, the Emperor's own province, is in the very center of the hall. Judging by the hilts jutting out from beneath their belts, many of those who surround that banner are nobles of the sword. Thomas is clearly jealous. The group from Archnia stands proudly, ennobled by its iconic and dignified history. The Archnean race and the Empire originated in their very lands. A sizable group of students stand under the banner of Monia, a wealthy agricultural province signified by yellow grains and a field of ore. The wealth of the young men beneath this banner is plain to see. Their attire is on par with the Archneans in terms of luxury, and perhaps even more vibrant in terms of color. The most numerous group of the party stands under the banner of Illyria, a yellow griffin against a field of azure. All the Illyrians are clothed in well-tailored suits with a minimum of decoration. Some of them wear gloves. Most of them come from wealthy industrial families. It seems many of them would feel more at ease in their family factories than at a noble party like this one. 3 banners represent the northern provinces of Fiona, Hermia, and Constanta. These banners, like the groups associated with them, stand together. The Royal Tempest dynasty oversees all 3 of them. The students and cadets are clearly well off, yet they are dressed in modest, functional garments to honor the austere traditions of the North. And finally, the smallest of the groups is represented by an open book against Field of Argent, Estinia, homeland of the Diamant dynasty. By the order of Patriarch Junius Diamant, the open book of the new faith has been added to the banner only recently. Nearly all the young men beneath this banner are clothed in academy uniforms. They wear no adornments, but are clad impeccably, with nary a button undone, the embodiment of rigor and restraint. The master of ceremonies signals the beginning of the party. It is time for dancing. First dance is a minuet, and tradition calls for everyone to dance. Harpsichord music fills the hall. The academy cadets waste no time finding dance partners and soon, already making the fluid first steps of the minuet. You take a look around. One of the young ladies representing Magra catches your eye. She is slender like all Archeans and clothed in a yellow dress embroidered with emerald green, her face hidden behind a full mask decorated with bright green feathers. What happens next seems unbelievable. The enigmatic lady walks towards you. The way she looks at you, the way she walks, the black eyes from behind the mask watch closely. Tilts her head. There are no words, but there you feel there is a question. Everyone in the hall is startled by a sudden noise. You look behind you and see Thomas getting up off the floor, his face a grimace of rage. Dorius Alton stands before him, eyeing him with disgust. His arm rests on the hilt of his sword. Who allowed this clumsy commoner inside the great chancellor's palace? Its noble masters are trying to dance, and it's getting underfoot. Thomas looks like he's about to explode in Austin's face, but the smug Archnean sword is a clear threat. Your friend's rage gets the better of him. He will end up in trouble. The enigmatic Archnean beauty, however, quickly loses all interest in their quarrel. Comes even closer to you, expecting you to invite her to dance. Oh fuck! We could fuck over our friend. Let's see. Oh. That is Octavia! No. Oh no! I really want to fucking dance with Octavia. Dude, it's fucking Octavia. That's an Archean. You know how... I could get in with it. But my bro, my homie, Thomas. It's always bros before hoes. Shit. Oh no. Oh, this sucks. This is like the toughest choice yet. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, yeah, no, I think we go with manipulation here. Resolve the quarrel. You stand between Thomas and Otten before they can clash. The Archnean eyes you with scorn. You shower him with a flurry of apologies for your friend. Thomas has never been to this kind of party before and still has a lot to learn when it comes to etiquette. And besides, he's clearly flummoxed from witnessing an Archnean up close. Otten smirks. It's barely enough to notice. Well said. Sometimes I forget you humans are barely smarter than beasts. Take pride in the fact that you were permitted to attend this party. We'll have stories to tell and all that. Very well, away with you. Try not to get in my way. Why, I recognize your face now that I think of it. Ah, you hail from Manazot. I must have seen you on the street somewhere. There are just too many of your kind about, but you're rather sharp, and you've been taught how to behave. That is a welcome sight. You back away from the Archnean in a most gallant way, touching your friend by the arm. There is a mixture of rage and bewilderment on Thomas's face. Once you are far away enough, he swears under his breath and heads for the refreshments. You follow him and watch him down 2 glasses of sparkling wine like a parched man guzzling water. You've sure got skill when it comes to sucking up to the Archneans, friend. Saved my hide today, no doubt about it. This fight still feels like a bucket of slop right into the face, though. It could have been far worse, you tell him. Better a moment of shame than a fight with a mighty Archnean in the middle of a party. Assaulting an Archnean is the easiest way to meet true death. Thomas says nothing to this and downs a 3rd glass of wine. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch the mysterious masked Archnean lady, all beauty and grace, dancing with Otten. Could have been in his place had you so chosen. Fucking God damn it! Man! You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the Trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict: forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members, and true death for their leader, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name is Ani Siren. She made a speech before her execution, a young woman not too tall, her face almost plain with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Ani Siren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Dun 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 dun. Sir Elcroix. Lesson. Your studies at the Imperial College may have begun with a luxurious party, but soon you settle into a routine of lesson after lesson. Along with dozens of other future judges, you spend hours listening to lectures in spacious college halls with high ceilings. You study imperial law and legislation, analyzing every technicality and interpretation. Subjects only get tougher, and the instructors grow ever more demanding as your studies continue. Yet law is not the only thing you study. There are other disciplines as well, such as rhetoric and orthography. A true judge must have a perfect command of both the spoken and written word. Washing dark blue ink off your fingers becomes an indelible part of your daily routine. Of all your classes, you find the fencing lessons particularly exciting. Every lesson covers your body with more cuts and bruises and makes your muscles ache from exertion. that your childhood dream is worth it. Then finally, there comes a short break in your studies, a handful of days for rest and recreation. You meet Thomas to discuss how you are going to spend this time. You're coming with me tonight. No excuses, Brante. We'll be paying a visit to our mentor, Baron El Croix. It's time you learned a thing or two about how we do things in the military. Your friend looks very cunning and pleased with himself when he says this. With a sigh, you change out of your college uniform and into your best clothes and follow him. Thomas rushes you to a 2-story house somewhere in a noble neighborhood in the capital. Its windows are open and you can hear people talking over each other. Oh. The house's sitting room is filled with young people, at least 24 men, almost all of them academy cadets. In the middle of the sitting room is an armchair, and in this armchair is a gentleman wearing the uniform of an Imperial Legion officer and smoking a pipe. His thick hair falls over his large, observant eyes. Baron El Croix welcomes the two of you with a slight nod and continues his speech, while everyone listens respectfully. As I was saying, young men, I firmly believe that the days when all the military glory of the Empire belonged to the Ocnian dynasty are long gone. Human nobles have been serving the Emperor at least as well as the Ocnian nobles for a long time now. Still, the Ocnians keep acting like their origins are more important than honor and service to the crown. Take the Milonitis dynasty, for example. The Archdukes of Magra. Long ago, their leader Char Milonitis fomented a rebellion against the rule of the Tempests and the Twins' faith. He sucked all life from his own land, doomed thousands of his own subjects, and yet, Milonitis dynasty still rules over Magra like nothing ever happened. Then suddenly, Sir El Croix flashes a cunning grin. I think this calls for a test of your strategic thinking, young men. But first, let me refresh your memory on the rebellion of Char Milonitis. It may seem surprising, but we have him to thank for our current status. He was the first to ennoble humans, an act of unprecedented insolence. They gave the rebellious duke immense support in his province. He risked his own reputation and title to make himself stronger thanks to humans, and in that, he succeeded. No one had ever dared challenge the rule of the Ocnians and Tempest before, but the rebellion of Magra changed everything. Humans became a part of the nobility. We got a taste of the power only the Ocnians could wield before. And unless I am mistaken, most nobles in the Empire these days are human. Why, we outnumber the members of the Ocnian dynasties dozens of times over. Char Milonitis had complete rule and control over the lands of Magra. He had the loyalty of his ennobled human subjects, and he had the loyalty of the mages and witches who had fled to Anazot, the only place in the Empire where they could hide from the church. The Archduke of Magra had everything he needed to win, and yet 2 pivotal changes brought him down. First of all, he cast a magic spell that incinerated the entire province. It certainly stopped the Imperial legions in their tracks, but the population of Magra would no longer side with Char Milonitis after that. Second, the clergy struck at the rebellious duke with the power of the twins. His magic was gone, and his main advantage was no more. Many fled, but as you know, it still took the Empire an entire month of siege before the palace in Anazont was taken. Whew! After the rebellion of Magra, the Empire changed drastically, and most importantly, humans finally received their lawful right to be ennobled. And I'd like to stress that in particular, ennobled not by birth, but by virtue of their own knowledge and talent. History, young men, is more than just a memory of the past. It is also a lesson for our future. I believe that part of our history proves my point. And now a test. Tell me, if you were among the Imperial strategists during the rebellion, what would you have done? How would you have fought an enemy as powerful as Char Milonitis? With this, Sir El Croix leans back in his armchair and takes a pull from his pipe, while the cadets start discussing. Some take no time to say they cannot believe Sir El Croix thinks humans were first ennobled by serving the rebellious duke. Others say the prolonged palace siege might have been a mistake, and storming the palace would have been a better choice. Soon, ideas start flying. Some cause only laughter, while others lead to debate. They're discussing the past of Anazon, the past of your hometown. You cannot possibly stay silent right now. If you were in command of the Imperial legions back then, what would you have done? Based on what you know about the rebellion of Magra, you see 3 potential strategies. The first involves calling upon the twins' miracles to rob Milonitis of magic and render him powerless. The second entails putting your faith in the discipline and valor of the army for a frontal assault. Third means drawing out the siege while making the enemy's life as hard as possible through cunning. Which of these strategies would you have chosen? Ooh. Damn. Valor, theology, valor and eloquence, relying on the strength and valor. Starve the city. Yeah. You decided it's time for you to answer Sir Elcroix. The proper way to bring down the castle of Anazat would have been through a prolonged siege, you say. The lands of Magra could no longer feed the warriors of Charmilonitis at that stage of the rebellion, and when their supplies eventually ran out, they would have opened the gate from the inside. Sir Elcroix looks at you, studying you attentively. I agree with what you're saying, young Brante, in a sense. Had the Imperial forces done that, they would have lost fewer men and kept the Palace of Anazat intact. Yet you are missing my other point here. Milonitis' army would have continued fighting, even emaciated by the siege, even with their numbers dwindling. True, some did flee, but those who stayed to defend the city and the castle, even after the Imperial forces broke in, remained loyal to their lord until the very end. Long ago, only Archneans had the right to wield weapons and wage war, but now humans can prove their merit and earn the same right. Humans like ourselves. And the present empire has grown ever stronger thanks to its new warriors and functionaries. These days, humans can judge and rule and create. The terrors wrought by the rebellious Duke are undeniable, yet his rebellion created new possibilities for all of us. And this, young men, is the moral of the story. Charmilonitis was defeated, but not by the clergy and their prayers, and not even by the noble militias assembled by other archdukes. He was vanquished by the Imperial Legion, a unified army with clear regulations and ranks, and a clear chain of command, an army that is strong in discipline and loyal to the Emperor. His eyes finally move away from you and back to the rest of the young men in the hall. But nobody else dares to argue with the battle-hardened officer. The evening continues. Sir Elcroix shares some of his war stories, each more astounding than the last. For the rest of the night, you are out of the Baron's center of attention. So, you join Thomas and the other cadets in sipping wine and enjoying his tales. You return to the college long after midnight. You often recall Baron Elcroix's story about the rebellion of Charmilonitis after that. The rebellious Duke lost the war, and yet he brought about drastic changes for humans and the entire empire. Oh, rest the voice a little. Whew! There are days when you receive letters from home. Father's writing is very reserved. He mostly discusses events and work in Magra and writes very little about the family. It makes me proud that I have managed to teach Stefan how to handle our affairs at home. Your older brother behaves impeccably at the society balls and receptions that we host. He has already made several crucial acquaintances. But Gloria has a different opinion of Stefan. He thinks your older brother is taking more and more after grandfather. Stefan is a lot like grandfather. It's in his manners, his posture, his voice. He even dresses just like him. He used to be aloof around me, and we barely talked in the past, but now he always blames me and tears me apart. Can't take it anymore. He walks over me all the time and treats me like a housemaid. Mother writes to you. From her letters, you learn that Nathan just barely managed to graduate from school. It makes me sad to admit that Nathan has none of the talents you have. The other day, he told me he won't even try to study in the capital. He says he won't be able to pass the exams. I find solace in the nights Nathan and I spend together reading the scriptures and our walks to the church by the silver tree. He accompanies me every time. Her sister and younger brother write about Mother too, and they say the same thing about her health. She now spends more time locked away in her chambers to brood. Gloria does her best to accompany Mother when she leaves home, and Nathan's letters mention her steps echoing in the halls in the middle of the night. There's one more thing Nathan mentions in his letters. Stefan and Gloria have been fighting very often these days. Stefan always tries to get on Gloria's skin, and she answers him in kind. Then Stefan calls her a lowly commoner to make her shut up. You always tremble in excitement each time you see a new letter with the seal of your home province. Your fate is still bound tightly to your families, no matter the distance between you. I'm losing relation just by being a fucking nerd. That's some bullshit. You will become a judge one day, so you are sent to the prefecture of Eterna to be mentored by a more experienced colleague. Your mentor is a judge of considerable age, a noble of the mantle with a proud bearing about him. He never misses a chance to remind you that being mentored by such an experienced man of office is a great honor. Your mentor entrusts you with his minor cases and, to his great joy, his night shift. Another night begins. The office is growing darker. You are still there, zealously filling out the paperwork for the day. A petty theft, a verbal assault against a noble of the sword by a commoner, a fine for the parents of children who covered an imperial institution with obscene drawings. Petty cases, all of them, but they are real cases a judge has to face, and so you sit there carefully comparing complaint statements and witness testimonies. Then the door of your office swings open. A gendarme drags in a provocatively dressed woman. Her golden hair is undone and her makeup is a fiery red. Girls like her sell their bodies in houses of ill repute. The next to enter the office is a stout priest, his face adorned by a nose of a remarkable shape and a huge wart on his cheek. You do your best to avoid staring at it. The gendarme gives his report. The girl was arrested with a certain gentleman in the park by the Temple of the Twins. They were commuting acts of carnality, an affront to the faith. The huffing and puffing priest interrupts him and starts yelling. "You saw her doing magic, he did. The gentleman was enthralled by the girl and he was glowing like a lamppost." You gesture for the priest to stay quiet and ask if the gendarme can prove this. The gendarme only shrugs. He didn't see anyone glowing. He arrested the girl for sacrilegious conduct alone. The man in her company was a noble, so the gendarme couldn't bring himself to arrest him. He does, however, remember his name. The priest is huffing and puffing even louder now. It was magic, he screams. You must refer this case to the Inquisition. This witch was loose on the streets of the Empire's illustrious capital, seducing good men with her vile charms. The girl stays quiet all the while. Her eyes are emerald green, twinkling with gold as she looks at you. When she does speak, her voice is soft like smooth velvet. My name is Alis, Your Honor. All I did was obey the noble gentleman's wish. He wanted my affection right by the temple, and I dared not oppose him. I did not defy my lot, did I? The wench looks up and meet your gaze as she says these words. Her eyes reflect the candlelight in the dusk, sending sparks of gold dancing across the walls. The gendarme stands awkwardly by the door, sighing. The priest goes off on another rant. You tell him to be quiet. The day is not over yet. You must decide how to resolve this unusual case on your own. The law says a judge must investigate all circumstances related to a case. You know the name of the nobleman who was seen with this girl in the throes of passion. The gendarme was afraid to question him. But you are a future nobleman yourself, a young judge. Surely you can find a way to resolve this matter with discretion and get the information you need from the nobleman. But perhaps this suspicious lady of the evening, Alis, is at the heart of the matter. You have no doubt she will reveal her true colors if you question her. If the priest was right about her using magic, the girl's fate is sealed. Your Honor. Oh shit. You look up from your desk and into the eyes of the beautiful Alis, and you suddenly feel as though a divine light is shining upon you. This emotion flows like a river. It lifts you up. This is more than beauty, more than passion. This is much, much more. Will you resist this call? Will you heed it? She does use magic. Oh fuck. We release Alis. Interrogate her. Find the nobleman. That's what get more evidence. Get more evidence, yeah. You tell the gendarme to take the girl to a holding cell. Her eyes are filled with chagrin and pity as the man takes her away. You compose a polite and thorough letter to Sir Diego Alcatar. What? The nobleman seen with the girl in question. You delicately hint that his reputation will be safe and promise full confidentiality. Oh, my voice. When you come to the office the next morning, you see a nervous young nobleman waiting at the door. You must be Judge Brante, he says. You meet Sir Alcatar with a dignified greeting and start questioning him on the case of Aelis the harlot. Is it true that the two of them ended up in the Temple Park because this was Sir Alcatar's wish? He says he barely remembers last night. He was quite inebriated and determined to have a good time. He spotted Aelis by accident. She was standing under a lamppost by the temple. As for the Temple Park, he does not quite remember why they ended up there. You take his statement in accordance with established procedure. Next question. Would Sir Alcatar say his mind was clouded by the young woman? The nobleman turns red. He asks quietly, Haven't you seen the last yourself, Sir Brante? How could anyone ignore her? Still, you ask, was there anything suspicious about her? He speaks slowly. Yes, it was as though she could see his every desire. He was happy beyond measure in her embrace. He felt like the gods themselves were smiling at him. Sir Alcatar. And yet, perhaps it was merely the wine and her beauty and nothing else. You thank the young nobleman for his honesty and promise to keep his statement a carefully guarded secret. You sentence the harlot to 2 days in a pillory for defiling a place of worship with her depravity. Find no reason to refer Aelis to the Inquisition, however. You write case closed on Aelis' file and put it in the archives. Hell yeah. Oh. Okay, she's the enigmatic singer. Huh. Alright. Hope we are now 19 years old. We're getting old. Two major events take place while you're busy living your life. Firstly, Cornelius Tempus is no longer the great chancellor of the empire. He has been ousted and sent back to his province. His replacement is the Archduke of Monia, Junius Monroe. The same Monroe who sought to shut down the college. The most powerful lord in the realm finally convinced the emperor that his brother Cornelius was giving too much freedom to the lowborns. Now the policies of the empire will be reversed. Many fear that the new great chancellor will destroy the imperial code of laws and other achievements of Cornelius. There are cautious rumors among the people. They say the new great chancellor is going to revoke the right of the common lot to be ennobled by the mantle. Secondly, Magra, your homeland, now has a new overseer, Gaius Tempest, the other brother of Emperor Uther II. Usually, the overseer of a province is its archduke. After all, it makes sense for the province's most powerful noble to impart the emperor's will to the locals. But now this age-old tradition has been broken, to no one's surprise. Archduke Tarquinius Milanitis is absolutely furious. Gaius Tempest used to be the main supporter of his brother, former great chancellor Cornelius Tempest. The nobles at the emperor's court say this is a stratagem by the Arcanian gentry, who want Gaius removed from court affairs along with Cornelius. Either way, Gaius Tempest and Tarquinius Milanitis will be at each other's throats over the promise. This does not bode well for their future. Only one thing is clear, Magra, your home province, is about to face great changes. Oh, do I need to have all of those? The capital is preparing for a great celebration. The coming of age of Jarian Tempest, heir to the throne. The streets are being cleaned, the low-born merchants are gone from the squares, and flags and flower garlands have appeared on the buildings. By the Emperor's decree, everyone will celebrate for the next 3 days. Eterna is abuzz. A festive procession starts on the streets. Students from the college and cadets from the military academy will be there to show their gratitude for the Emperor's family for entrusting them with the power they wield. Ribbons and flags flutter in the wind. The streets are scrubbed clean and the scent of the flowers fills the air. You march side by side with Thomas, carrying the banner of your province. Your friend's brown hair is unusually well combed today. He waves to every girl you see on the streets as you pass by. He goes shyly and some of them wave back. You see that, pal? Look at that beauty. She just smiled at me. Now this is what I call living. I just love parades. Tempest royal family observes the slowly approaching parade from the balcony of the Imperial Palace. They are joined by the Empire's highest dignitaries and provincial overseers. Oh, see Emperor Uther II with your own eyes. There, high above, yet so close. The columns come to a halt at the balcony and salute the Emperor with the mottos of the college and the academy. You join the other students, college students, in crying, "Learning is strength, learning is will." The Emperor raises his hand in a gesture of benevolent greeting. His voice echoes across the square. Oh, I gotta be an emperor now. Ah! Woo! I accept your gratitude, my loyal subjects. Take pride as you wield your knowledge and valor in service of the Empire. All who are worthy will be ennobled by the mantle by my grace. The future nobles around you cheer the Emperor's words, but their jubilation gives way to murmurs of discontent when Archduke Monrogue, the new great Chancellor of the Empire, steps onto the balcony. Everyone here remembers all too well how the Archduke attempted to shut down the college by force. Still, the Archduke is the de facto leader of the Archnean gentry. He is a force to be reckoned with, even for the Emperor, and so he is the great Chancellor now. Hail your Emperor, common folk. Be forever obedient and grateful for the good graces you do not deserve by birth. The Archduke doesn't even bother to hide his contempt for the gathering below. Booed by the crowd, he rejoins the dignitaries in the back row. You notice one of them. A slender, elegant figure under an emerald banner with a black snake. She's Octavia Melanitis, daughter of the Archduke of Magra. Now that's new. You noticed Octavia too, eh? Our Archduke Melanitis sent his daughter in his stead. That's a sign of disrespect for the Emperor if I've ever seen one. Is he so enraged because he's no longer the overseer of Magra? I mean, you can imagine his surprise. That's never happened before. But then everyone grows silent. A young, slender Archnean with a shy smile comes forth. There are whispers in the crowd. That's Prince Jarian, heir to the throne, ward of Cornelius, promise and hope of the common estate. To the left of Jarian is his younger brother, Flavius. He is baffled at the sight of the parade below, too young to process what he is seeing. May the twins be kind to you, my future subjects. I promise to repay you in kind and help you prosper in your loyal service to the Empire. Exalted by these words, the future nobles roar as one. All hail Prince Jarian! Another figure steps into view next to the heir. He is an Archnean, elegantly dressed, and his mantle bears the Tempest colors. He raises his arms, about to make a speech. Hey look, that's Dias Tempest, the Emperor's brother. And the new overseer of Magra, by the by. Seems the Archnean elders want him as far from the throne as possible, just like his other brother Cornelius. Those two have been promising too many freedoms to commoners like you and me. Long live Prince Jarian, students of the college, cadets of the academy. Time and again you have proven yourselves to the Empire by word and deed. Today is a day of great celebration, and in honor of Prince Jarian, you must ask the Emperor to guarantee forever the right of distinguished common folk to be ennobled by the mantle. So ask now. The cadets and students freeze in hesitation. They exchange glances, unsure whether to follow the words of the Emperor's own brother. On the balcony high above, Prince Jarian also remains still, awaiting a reaction from the crowd. Archduke Rogue briskly steps into view once more. He takes several seconds to observe the crowd before he speaks. Imperial subjects, what the Emperor's brother wishes to say is that you must always remember that you owe your status to the Tempest dynasty. The Emperor accepts your gratitude and sends you off with his blessing. You may leave now. But the columns stay where they are. That's not what Gaius Tempest said. Let the Emperor hear us, the law. We ask for the law. Commotion and murmurs spread over the crowd as some of the future nobles refuse to follow the Archduke's order. There are shouts heard here and there. The law! We ask for the law! The academy officers and teachers of the college urge them to fall in line and resume the parade. The tension is rising. The crowd slowly grows enraged and unruly. You have to decide where you stand here. Ooh, this is a perfect time for a pee break, so enjoy fan camp because holy shit, I am so hydrated. Be right back. My voice is dying. This game is slowly killing my voice. I don't know how much more life I have left to live. Alright, we're gonna bide our time here. You decide to wait while the others demand a new law, and still others try to restore order. Nobody knows how this will end. In the meantime, you conserve your energy and watch the events unfold. The chant grows louder with every second. The law! The law! Academy officers are trying to shout the vocal cadets and students into submission, order you back into the procession. They are barely heard above your chant. Still, some submit and form back into columns, but the impassioned chant continues and you find yourself in the very heart of the chanting crowd. Thomas walks right past you, waving his arms wildly, calling for you to join the chant. The law! The law! But you do not respond, and Thomas gives up on you. He moves to the center of the square where the vocal future nobles are gathering. An Imperial Guard cavalry regiment emerges from the palace. They start slowly advancing on the crowd, hands on their swords, pushing people out of the square. The end of this conflict is clear. Another moment and the cavalry will crush the disobedient youths. You swiftly maneuver away from danger and rejoin your semblance of a column in the procession. The orders of Academy officers and cadets finally have some effect. Most students submit and return to their columns. Commotion in the square is quelled, and the cavalry withdraws. Emperor Uther II appears on the balcony again. Archduke von Rogue, the Emperor's Great Chancellor, stands by his side. The square falls silent at the sight of the sovereign. My subjects, I can see how overjoyed you are for Prince Jarian, but your show of reverence and gratitude is clear enough. Now follow the Great Chancellor's order and obey my will. Continue the parade and sing the praises of the Tempest dynasty that has given you so much. Let's lower this a little bit. The square obediently lines up into columns once again. The bout of defiance is in the past now, and they resume the festive parade through the city streets. You march along with your column. You steered clear of the commotion and all the useless rebellion. Now everything is back as it should be. Glory to Emperor Uther. Glory to Prince Jarian. Wait. No, none of that. I should have checked what... I wonder what requirements I needed for... My willpower is fucking maxed out, though. Oh. Oh. Boys. Your studies at the college come easily to you. Only now do you realize the importance of all the lessons you had to endure as a child at father's expense. Month after month, you study the judge's trade down to the smallest details, growing more confident in your new calling with every lecture. But there is more to your education than the judge's trade in imperial law. You also learn manners and courtly etiquette and poetry and composition and even fencing. On some days, you go with Thomas to a deserted patch of land to practice with the sword. Then finally, the day of your judge's exam comes. You send your test results to Father, and he replies with an appointment to a judge's office at the prefecture of Magra. Now you have a new life and a new profession back home. You will return to your hometown as a judge. It is early morning at the great temple of the twins. Your heart skips a beat as you step inside the temple. It feels like that day from your childhood again. The priest is standing at the altar and the temple is divided into two halves. But you are no longer a frightened little child anymore. You are now a grown man who is about to become a noble. The floor on the common side is there to cause pain. You feel the jagged edges even through the soles of your boots. This pain marks your final few seconds as a commoner. The priest stands before you. You kneel again, but now there is warm, smooth marble under your knees. You hear the words spoken above your head. From this day forth, your lot is strength and will. From this day forth, you will rule and fight and pursue the arts. Now rise, noble. You place your lips on the smooth steel of the sword, and when you rise again, you realize that the trembling you felt ever since your first sacrament is now completely gone. You arise a new man, your every motion and now uncannily accurate, your thoughts surprisingly fresh, your muscles ready to face the fight. This day feels worthy of a poem, and now you can compose one if you wish. You touch your back, the mark of the lash from your previous sacrament is gone, completely erased forever. You hurry from the sacrament back to your room at the college. Your father's gift awaits you there, a sword, your very own sword. Now to celebrate. All college students are invited to the college tournament, then a party. The sword feels wonderful in your hand, a promise of future victories. The tournament begins. The stands are loud with anticipation. Never in your entire life you have seen so many beautiful, noble ladies in one place. There is only one who attracts everybody's attention. The raven-haired, black-eyed Octavia Milonitis, the daughter to the Archduke of Magra, has graced the tournament with a visit. She is wearing a dress of emerald green, her austere hairdo immaculate. She is surrounded by her ladies-in-waiting, all beauties in their own right. When a noble enters the tournament, he must announce the name of the lady whose honor he is fighting for. Many shout the names of their loved ones in the stalls. You know that many would fight for Octavia Milonitis, but the onus of responsibility is too great. Take a few jabs with the sword, swarming up for the fight. Soon it is your turn. All eyes are on you now. The young lady Octavia hides her face behind the hand fan, yet her eyes watch you with curiosity. Oh, damn. Okay. Oh. So we're gonna lose the tournament because we picked this? Wow, damn it. Damn. Address Octavia publicly. Fuck it, we got the balls. We're ballsy. You approach the stalls and introduce yourself. Then you muster your courage and address the beautiful Archduchess Milonitis. Will she permit you to fight in her honor? Slowly, she rises from her seat. The stalls grow quiet. If you suffer defeat after such insolent words, you may face the ire of one of the ancient Archnean dynasties. Young sir, I know not who you are, but you are most certainly a daring man if you wish to fight in the name of the daughter of the Archduke of Magra. I recognize neither your face nor your name, yet I like your audacity. So be it. I will grant you the honor of fighting in my name. Do not disgrace it. The stalls explode with applause, celebrating your courage. The first fight begins. The rules are the same as for any noble duel. Whoever draws first blood wins. First opponent does not put up much of a fight. A few minutes later, he misses a jab to the thigh. Your shirt is soaked with sweat. The hilt of your sword feels slippery in your wet fingers. From behind her emerald hand fan, Octavia watches you closely from her seat. You prevail in 2 fights in a row and face a new opponent. You know him well. He was mentored at the prefecture of Eterna after you. He is unusually quick and nimble in a fight. He catches you with a feint and follows it up with an easy jab to the side. Fair enough. 2 victories. Not that bad. You salute Octavia Milonitis with your sword, and she gracefully accepts your gesture. You have proven yourself well, young man. Brante, was it? I make no promises, but I will try to remember your name. The young Archduchess laughs, but immediately covers her face with a hand fan. You leave the arena. You will remember this day for the rest of your noble life, the day when you became a noble. I butchered saying that. You will remember this day for the rest of your life, the day when you became a noble. We've earned the judge's mantle. Nice. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the street. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Styria and one of the leaders of the new faith, will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lawless, a dangerous secret society based in the Imperial Capital. Members of this society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition at Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the new faith and the end of days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius' reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person, but I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Demon Dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the high holy fucking words. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the new faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamond. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused. The Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against the followers of the new faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Fotis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. Ha! Cowards. The trial of Junius Diamond has been averted, but the divide within the Church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamond all but pled guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the Church as well as the Inquisition is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astinia and co-leader of the new faith remains at his post. For how long? How will the old faith and the new faith clash next? Dun dun. The Reglata and Telrina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this heart fills you with gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet you have finally found your path. Here in the capital, you became a nobleman and a judge. Now you were one of the rulers, the warriors, the pleasure seekers, the creators, those who spill their blood for the empire and family and honor, those who keep and honor the age-old traditions. This is your lot now. You are to work in the prefecture of your home province as a judge. Your path to this goal was a long one, and your friend Thomas was by your side all the while. You fondly recall your walks through the streets of Eterna, your secret fencing lessons, your heartfelt discussions. You have no doubt your future back in Anazot will be full of glory. And then you recall the black, enigmatic eyes of Octavia Milanitis, an Archnian from one of the great dynasties, a woman whose beauty and majesty make you tremble. You heard she would be returning to the court of her father, the Archduke in Magra. Will you ever see her again? You will meet father once more. He tends to hide his feelings. Not this time. After all, you have fulfilled all his hopes, succeeded in your studies, and continued your family's noble legacy. Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall your older brother Stefan. Now that you have been ennobled, you are practically equals at last. This means you should follow an old tradition and bring Stefan a gift. So you head for the market district of Eterna. Soon you are busy trying out swords at a weaponsmith shop. There's a lot to consider for this gift. Stefan is taller and his shoulders are broader, which means his sword must be heavier and longer. There could be no embellishments. Stefan will scoff at you if you brought him an extravagant weapon. Unless you find a suitable sword, black and steel, a subtle ornament of leaves on the blade, and a grip shaped like woman vines. It resembles the seared soil of Magra beneath the silver tree. You choose the sheath with the same diligence. There, a light wooden frame bound in thin yet sturdy leather will make the blade easy to draw, and the buckle is sturdy enough. You leave the shop satisfied. You leave the capital the morning after Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The sword, a gift for Stefan, is in your hands. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazon. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. You have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along? Ever since your childhood years, All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 3 was short.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magra rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic sail by the window. You are back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazat, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun. Even with the thick blinders shut tight, it is a familiar heat. But you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. Past the time before your return home, read your father's most recent letter. Again and again, you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job in the service that awaits. Dear Ryan, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. These are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Milonitis is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side of the Archduke loyal to their liege and determined to follow the traditions of old. Yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the Emperor and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Arcanians are outraged that Archduke Milonitis has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Otten, High Commander of Magra. Although Otten and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation yet. I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges at the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honor, and conscience are every judge's best advisors these days. You made the choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustine Alborn, a long-standing friend of the family. We need strong allies now, more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the Prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I'm looking forward to seeing you back in Anazat, Ryan. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazat have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you, but first, you are going home. The most important event that will end this chapter, only one of them will happen. Oh shit. Things are gonna get fucking intense. I don't want to read any of these spoil things. Oh wow. Occupation. Okay. And the name, yeah. That's where we're gonna stop for the night. This game is This game is fun. This game is so much better than I thought it was going to be so far. Obviously, they could fumble the ball right at the end. But, based on how it feels so far, I feel like they're not going to fumble it. And I don't think anyone's streaming right now, so
Fine.
yeah, no one's streaming tonight. All right. My voice is tired. Oh shit. Yep. All right, that we have 4 subscribers. Ouch. Ouch. That means Tarada, Stuff, Dory, and Sasha. That's the 4. I remember my subscribers. So famous. You guys are lucky that I remember you guys. Yeah. Thanks guys for showing up. I will be live tomorrow night probably, most likely, with more of this. Oh, this game is so much fun. Wow. 74% of players actually do go into adulthood. That's actually impressive. Gamer memory, damn right. Yeah. So we're just gonna end it here tonight, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow night. So yeah. Peace. Woo.